$55,000 seem so small. But Bermuda punches well above its weight. It's a leading offshore financial services center, one of the largest insurance and reinsurance markets in the world, and a promising new hub of financial technology.
Blockchain virtual currency businesses, is that the best thing for the economy?
The breakdown tackles the high-level concepts.
Despite coming in, the bank left with a PE ratio,
But cuts through the technical jargon.
fancy way of calculating how expensive a stock is.
So you can understand not just how Bermuda is impacted by the world, but how the world is impacted by Bermuda.
The Breakdown with me, Tony Waterman, Thursdays at 8 p.m. starting this October.
You're watching Bermuda Tonight. It's Thursday, October the 4th. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for joining us. Calls for Ascendant CEO Sean Durfee and Chief Financial Officer Robert Schaefer to go as Belco workers down tools today following the separation of 4 more Bermudians from Ascendant-owned Belco. It is understood there will be no overtime work performed over the next 2 weeks, following which things could escalate if Mr. Durfee and Mr. Schaefer remain in place. Meantime, Mike Sharp was at Belco headquarters earlier today as workers met after they downed tools at around 9 this morning.
There were 2 resignations and 2 redundancies among the senior management team with a combined 85-year service to the company. The president of the Electricity Supply Trade Union, Donald Larico, told Gary Moreno that the action was to bring about discussion on the real motives of the administration.
As of right now, we have made a request of government and the management of Belco to have discussions on what the true intent of this administration is. We are disturbed that 29-year employees, 23-year employees that were given no true regard and seemed like more dismissal than true resignations or redundancies.
Mr. Latimer questioned why management got rid of key members who were assisting in bridging departments.
If you're talking about business process, we know this company is undergoing tremendous change, and you're going to let go the person who has been integral in getting the departments to function better, but her work was not done. We have negotiations that are ongoing. The 2 key negotiators for the company were people that you let go, but you didn't have a transition plan. So how are we supposed to begin negotiations in earnest when you've just reset the clock? So is your intent to really have an open and frank discussion? We don't believe so.
So union members down tools because there is cause for concern that management is coming for their jobs next.
So we have decided to press our government, as a Labour government, to work with us to ensure that the truth about these matters has come. We know over the past 2 years there have been multiple managers and workers in the non-unionized ranks, but we know soon they will come for us. All right, they are making that intention clear. The CEO said he was brought here to do a job. As far as we know, it doesn't look as much as building as it does as tearing down the fabric of a company that has stood for 100 years.
Ascendant President and CEO Sean Durfee said in a statement that they met with the Electricity Supply Trade Union executive on Wednesday as part of ongoing discussions about the situation at Belco and the challenges the company is facing with respect to costs and reducing customers' rates. He concluded by saying, "We have every intention to continue to work with ESTU to navigate our way forward." I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And keeping with that story, Premier and Minister of Finance David Burt today met with the leaders of the Electricity Supply Trade Union in the wake of the departure of 4 senior Bermudian executives from Belco. Walter Raban, the Minister of Transport and Regulatory Affairs, and Walton Brown, the Minister of Home Affairs, were also in attendance. The Premier said, quote, "It was important to meet directly with the workers' representatives who are justifiably concerned at a pattern of action by the CEO and the board, which is simply not in keeping with the community responsibility we expect from the company." He adds the membership's reaction to this growing and seemingly deliberate culture of uncertainty that has only affected Bermudians is not something this government will ignore. He further states as the union and its members work through these issues, the government is committed to supporting fair business practices that meet the highest standard of corporate community responsibility, adding even a monopoly must act right. And the Bermuda Trade Union Congress urging that the board of directors of the Ascendant Group meet with the Electrical Supply Trade Union to bring a speedy resolve to this current impasse. Gary Moreno has that story.
The Bermuda Trade Union Congress today met with representatives of sister union, the Electrical Supply Trade Union, which represents Belco workers, based on the current impasse between the workers and the board of directors and CEO Sean Durfee of parent company, the Ascendant Group. The BTUC expressed grave concern with the manner in which Bermudian workers are being treated. According to a statement from the organization, the dismissal of 4 senior Bermudian workers is extremely alarming, as these dismissals form part of what the BTUC deems a ploy to systematically remove qualified Bermudians from the Ascendant Group's workforce. The BTUC says these cuts come on the back of retaliatory redundancies which were made less than 3 weeks ago. The Congress claims as a result of the CEO not being able to obtain work permits for expatriate workers to displace qualified Bermudians. The organization states in particular the workers are angered that Michael Daniel and Dental Williams, who both have served the company for 29 years respectively, climbing from apprentice positions to senior management, were forced to leave. They allege the board and the CEO targeted this particular group of senior Bermudians, which included Zena Davis and Carol Ross de Silva, because they did not agree with the manner in which the board and CEO were handling the affairs of the company, and in particular, the treatment of workers. Demanding the immediate reinstatement of the 4 qualified displaced Bermudians, the ESTU declared it will begin work to rule action. We are told that action has in fact already begun, and as we already reported, the union is seeking the removal of both CEO Sean Durfee and CFO Robert Schaefer, and for full transparency from the board as it pertains to a number of issues. These include succession planning of Bermudians in the Ascendant Group, regulatory authorities' requirements of Belco, the systematic outsourcing of jobs, access to accredited training and retraining, full transparency regarding the allocation of savings which resulted from cost-cutting of employee wages and benefits, and finally, clarity on whether the North Power Station will be operated and maintained by Belco's employees. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Coming up, we'll have more for you after this short break, including all the latest weather news. Stay with us.
Shopping online? The cheapest and easiest way to bring your packages to Bermuda is with U.S. Express at mailboxes.
I've been a U.S. Express customer for a long time, and I stay a customer because it's fast, easy, and convenient.
You get the automatic call when your package is here, and just the pickup is easy. The street's not too crazy there, but you can just swing by, boom, down the steps, get your package, and off you go.
Sign up for a U.S. Express account at www.mailboxesunlimited.com today.
Sears is Bermuda's largest home appliance store with over 200 appliances in our showroom. We have refrigerators and freezers, gas ovens and electric ranges, washers and dryers. Sears has a wide selection of craftsman's tools and accessories. Beautify your home with our lawn and garden tools. We have everything you need for outdoor entertaining. Located at 41 Victoria Street, Sears is open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sears, reliable delivery, quality service, and everyday low prices.
From the very beginning, it was always our singular focus to do whatever it takes, use every possible resource to fight cancer, and never lose sight of the patients we're fighting for. Our cancer treatment specialists share the same vision. Experts from all over the world working closely together to deliver truly personalized cancer care. And these are the specialists we're proud to call our own. Expert medicine works here. Learn more at cancercenter.com. Appointments available now.
Welcome back. Police tonight praising the actions of a very brave employee at the Game Time business in St. George's who leapt into action to foil an attempted armed robbery. Troy Trott and videographer James Barbosa were on the scene minutes after the incident took place. They spoke with Dwayne Kane, the police media and public relations manager, who told them the culprit's attempt to flee the scene also failed.
At one 6:30 this afternoon, police and first responders attended a report of an armed robbery at Game Time in St. George's. Upon police arrival, it was ascertained that a male went to that said establishment and he brandished a bladed article. Now, fortunately, a brave female employee tackled this man and he left the store with nothing in his hand. He then ran up Queen Street, and at approximately 2:15 he was arrested on Turkey Hill in St. George. He is now in police custody assisting us with inquiries into this matter.
Are you able to say, Dwayne, if anything was able to get away with anything?
First of all, we can say that the lady in the store, the employee in the store, she exercised what could only be described as bravery. She was assisted by other individuals in the store. She was wrestled to the ground. He then made good his escape out of the area. He was actually found by police. He was running down the street. Police saw him, and he was taken into police custody.
Was anyone injured in these?
No one at this time appears to be injured.
Nothing was taken?
Nothing was taken.
And police say the suspect is 22 years of age. Well, the trial of 5 teenagers has opened in Britain, hearing how 17-year-old Bermudian Larico Steed was stabbed to death after he was lured to a suburban playground last February. Larico is the great-grandson of entertainer Gene Steed. The Nottingham Post reports the trial opened this week in Nottingham Crown Court, with British prosecutor Peter Joyce QC describing Steed as a, quote, sitting duck, while his alleged killers were on their way to the playground to trap and kill him. The prosecutor alleging the teenager had been chased over several hundred yards before he stumbled and tripped. The single female accused, a 16-year-old girl, had been used as the lure to get him there. Mr. Joyce alleging the stabbing was both orchestrated and planned. The trial is expected to hear how, after the attack, the victim, bleeding from serious wounds about his face, arm, leg, and back, managed to find his way to a nearby residence for help. But despite immediate surgery, the young Bermudian died of his extensive injuries a few days later, on February 18th this year. That trial continues. Now let's see how the weekend is shaping up weather-wise. Right now, conditions are looking pretty clear in our tower cam, but let's check in with AccuWeather for the details.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brittany Boyer. It's another day, and we've still got Leslie out here. It is a hurricane, Category 1 hurricane, and this has just kind of been sitting out here for the last couple of weeks. The only problems that we've seen with Leslie are the fact that, well, we're getting some rough conditions, especially outside of the reef. You get well out there, there are waves as high as 20 feet. Right now, this is about 445 or so miles away from the island, but still a strong enough storm that it is churning up the water right now. All right, our radar here, you can see that the moisture associated with Leslie. Now, I can't rule out a shower or two as this makes a pass to our north, so we might get one of these outer rain bands, but besides that, it's going to be more of a problem with the sea conditions as we are still under a small craft warning. Temperatures right now sitting in the upper 70s, so pretty pleasant out there. Humidity right around 70 to 75%. We still have the breeze thanks to Leslie that's to our east. Winds are out of the northeast, 18 to 22 knots. The water's nice and comfortable, but heads up, if you're here for vacation, you really have to exercise caution, specifically outside of the reef where we're seeing waves as high as 7 to 13 feet. And I mentioned way out there, waves as high as 20 feet are certainly possible. Overnight tonight, the breeze is still with us, but we are partly cloudy, a low of 75 degrees. Again, there could be a spotty shower or two tonight and also into your Friday. Our tidal times, low tide coming in right around 11:45 tonight, and then our high tide just before 6 a.m. on Friday. And we're getting close to the weekend tomorrow. Here's what you can expect. A high of 82 degrees, breezy during the morning hours, but then we'll start to see the winds relaxing as we head throughout the afternoon. So enjoy the sunshine. Lows tomorrow night right around 74 degrees. So here's Leslie. As you can see, lots of wind associated with this hurricane, also lots of moisture as well. It will be working its way to the north and then eventually moving its way on east. But as we head through the weekend, it's still going to be spinning around us, so choppy seas still likely a very well possibility. If you're doing any traveling, well, here's a look at current conditions right now for some of the islands. Jamaica, we are dealing with a few tropical waves out there toward the Caribbean, so there are some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Barbados, 88 degrees right now with a couple of showers out there, and our only tropical development continues to be Hurricane Leslie. If you're heading back toward the East Coast, Toronto, it's a cool day tomorrow, 55 degrees. New York City, right around 70 with clouds and sunshine. Your extended forecast over the next couple of days, the winds start to relax, and overall this weekend is looking pretty nice. Saturday and Sunday, both days nice and dry, and early next week is also looking pretty nice too.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
It's hurricane season. Here are some tips from BF&M. Before a storm, make sure you have a family plan. Stock up on food and water and protect your home. Board up and make sure your insurance policies are up to date. After a storm, check everyone's safety, especially seniors. Inspect your property and secure from further damage. Then note the damages, list, and take photos. Remember, you can always count on BF&M 24/7 during hurricane season and all year round.
All my life is changing every day, in every possible way. Then I open up and see the person falling here is me. 'Cause you're a dream to me.
Made with care, handled with care, delivered with care. That's what dreams are made of.
I was first diagnosed as a diabetic back in 2000. I was 222 pounds. I used to feel sickly all the time, like a lot of ailments, back pains, this. We meet as a group, as well as we do have individual one-on-one consultations with the doctor.
This is just providing guidance upon the type of healthy foods that will help people better manage and hopefully reverse their diabetes.
But the group setting gives you encouragement, you get feedback. You know, if you see somebody out in the street, hey, how you doing? How you making out?
The aim of the one-year program is to provide that support to try and make it as easy as possible for people to make those changes.
I had lost 22 pounds. I was going on. Now I'm feeling a lot more comfortable. I feel like you actually do feel lighter. You know, you feel more energized.
If you're a diabetic and you say, you know, I really would like to get a better control on this, such patients who have that type of motivation, this is an ideal program for them.
Tonight, Bermuda Broadcasting is launching a brand new show. Perhaps you've seen the promos. The Breakdown with Tony Waterman is our new half-hour business program, which will air Thursday nights at 8 p.m. And Tony Waterman is here with us in studio. So, Tony, I'm sure people are wondering, what's this show all about?
Well, Jasmine, at the heart of the show, it's all about business. But I understand that business is perhaps a little scary for a lot of people. I didn't personally come from a business background, so I understand how daunting it can be when these technical terms are thrown at you, or you don't understand how policy is impacting business, or you don't understand what's happening halfway across the world, how that's going to impact us here in Bermuda, or what's happening in Bermuda, what that actually means for the rest of the world. So the show is about business, but it's about breaking down, hence the name, breaking down some of that really complicated information, those complicated, complex, making it accessible for people so they can understand it, but also talking to those people within the industry for those high-level conversations to be able to bring it full circle. So it's something for everyone when it comes to business.
And tonight's the debut. Who's going to be one of your guests on the show?
Well, we're talking all things blockchain today. So, you know, you've probably heard about it by now. Maybe you're still trying to wrap your head around exactly what it means. So we're going to be talking to the COO of one of the companies here that's using blockchain in a financial setting. We're also talking to somebody who's a little bit more skeptical. And I think probably the big guest that we have tonight is going to be Brian Dupro, who's going to, of course, be able to talk to us about what blockchain technology could mean for the insurance sector. And I have to say, just as a little tease here, he did tell me that he doesn't necessarily think that it's the most important emerging game-changing technology for the insurance sector right now. So you have to tune in to hear the rest of that interview. And also, I should mention that over the next 13 weeks, we're going to be embarking on this series looking at some of the great entrepreneurs here in Bermuda. So tonight, I'm taking a walk on the wild side, so to speak.
Excellent. Well, best of luck.
Thank you very much. And that's Thursdays, 8 p.m. For the next 13 weeks, and we'll be airing tonight on Channel 7 and 9.
I'm
So
sure many
see you
will be,
then.
I'm sure many will be looking forward to seeing it. Thanks, Tony. All right. So a new immigration policy aimed at cracking down on dishonest employers of tennis professionals has gone into effect. There have been complaints in the past that businesses like hotels and resorts that employ such personnel have sought to unfairly exclude qualified Bermudian foreign tennis pros in favor of foreign personnel. Home Affairs Minister Walton Brown said it will now mean that the Bermuda Lawn Tennis Association will be directly involved in work permit applications.
In order to provide greater assurance that Bermudians who work in the sport of tennis are given fair opportunities for gainful employment in Bermuda, the Department of Immigration has introduced a new process of referring work permit applications for tennis personnel to the Bermuda Lawn Tennis Association, BLTA. This means that going forward, employers must send a copy of the work permit application with all supporting documentation to the BLTA at the same time they submit the work permit application to the Department of Immigration. The BLTA must provide a written response to employers within 10 working days from the date of the application is referred to them. Employers must submit the response to the Department of Immigration. If a response is not provided within the time frame, then employers must provide formal written notification to the Department of Immigration to advise that no response was received, including all relevant details relating to the referral, i.e. the name of the prospective work permit holder, job title, and the date of referral to the BLTA. The minister can exercise discretion over the response from the BLTA, i.e. he may or may not agree with the response.
Meanwhile, Mike Wolf, the Lawn Tennis Association's president, described the new policy as a win for tennis and local tennis pros.
As mentioned, with regard to the formalization of this agreement, we now see this as a means for ensuring that our local pros have a fair method of ensuring placement at local tennis facilities. Again, we know there's more work to be done, but we're looking forward to working with government on this process, and we certainly see it as a positive way forward.
David Burt will remain the political leader of the Progressive Labour Party, but he could well have a new second in command following the party's upcoming delegates conference. The party confirming today that Scott Simmons has been nominated to run for the post of deputy leader, a position currently held by Walter Raban. Mr. Raban telling us recently that he feels he has the support of the party's delegates, and based on his performance in the role, he expects he will remain deputy leader. Current party chairman Owen Darrell is not in the running to retain that post, leaving two candidates, Don Simmons and Damon Wade, to contest for it. Lauren Hayward-Bell, the party's secretary general, will be up against Colin Gilbert and Alexa Lightburn for the post of deputy chair. This year's delegates conference, the theme of which is Building a Better and Fairer Bermuda, the next chapter will be held from October 24th to the 26th. So to come, three young travelers share their experiences spent during a year in South America and Asia in just a few minutes.
You can count on us.
Save $2.50 on beefsteak tomatoes, only $2.49 per pound. Fresh assorted pork chops, $3.49 per pound. Bermuda's Best canola or vegetable oil, 48-ounce bottle, hot price $4.29. Scott chooses size paper towels, one roll, $2.79. Save $3 on King Hawaiian sliced bread, 16-ounce loaf, hot price $5.99. All stores open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Welcome back. We want to apologize to our viewers as our nightly sports report will not be airing tonight. Meantime, Bermuda is today mourning the sudden death of a true quiet giant, Harrison Isaac Sr. Mr. Isaac passed away recently after a brief illness. Mike Sharp reports.
He was truly a great man. The three children from his first marriage all successfully completed college. He was a missionary in the Philippines and Antigua, and one of only 4 Queen Scouts on the island. His youngest daughter, Renee, said he took many Scouts and Cubs around the world.
I will tell you, as I have mentioned to you before, that there are so many people out there with stories about his scouting. I was the youngest of the first 3 set of children, and then came my precious little brother Matthew. But me being the youngest, the memories aren't held with me. They're held with my siblings and everyone else he impacted. I used to walk from Francis Patton School to the scout meetings at, well, we're now Shekinah Worshippers, First Shelley Bay Scout Troop. So we used to walk and attend them, and they were just as fun for me, for all the Cub Scouts and the Boy Scouts. But the juice of the stories, the jamborees, the trips to Australia, Canada.
I traveled with him.
All of these places, they went so many places.
Harrison Isaac loved to paint. He was a very good artist. One of his drawings was of Zena Simons. He also built the first motorized go-kart in Bermuda and received a police escort to drive from Frizzle's Hill to Angle Street. He designed 9 self-guided walking tour trails to capture the beauty of Bermuda's fauna. And he opened up a gift shop at Botanical Gardens and later wanted to have his book in local schools.
Part of this has to do with his scouting also, but my father's been an entrepreneur all my life. Brilliant man, all sorts of endeavors that were amazing and impactful for Bermuda, the latest of which is this Bermuda Hibiscus Garden Trail. He started it, his wife, Renee Rose, is from the Philippines, and when she came to Bermuda, she was intrigued by the beauty of Bermuda and our flowers, and she really took to the hibiscus because they also have that in the Philippines. And so just by my daddy, in a tourist fashion, taking her around and showing her things, he became intrigued. Now my daddy doesn't do something, how do I say? Yes. He puts all heart into it. So he started researching hibiscus, all the different species. I mean, it's amazing. He wrote a book, and the book, I believe I can say it was complete, but unfortunately we didn't have the funds to publish it.
Mr. Isaac's second marriage was to a lady from the Philippines, also named Renee. And from that union came 3-year-old Matthew Malachi Isaac. Anyone wishing to donate to his educational fund can do so at Clarion Bank. The account number 6,143,444. The family will hold a tribute service on October 21st at 2 p.m. at Redner Road Christian Fellowship. I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News.
And our sincere condolences to the family of Mr. Isaac. A trio of young people tonight sending out a positive message to other young people to get out there, be bold, and see the world. The teenagers are just back from spending nearly a year abroad, an experience they say has profoundly changed their perspectives. Here's Tarai Trott with our special story.
Most of us wonder what it's like to live in a foreign country. But for these 3 youngsters, an enlistment in the Rotary International Exchange Program allowed them to live abroad for the experience of a lifetime.
From when I was in my 2nd year of high school, previous exchange students came back to Bermuda and I was immediately interested in it.
Before I moved to college, I wanted to take a gap year and travel.
And off they went. Both Sage and Latifah went to Brazil, while Laruzi arrived in Indonesia.
On the whole, how was Indonesia?
For me, the experience was the best experience that God could have given to me. I went there with no information. I was the first student ever sent from Bermuda to Indonesia. So any questions that I had to ask them about the country, they was not sure about it because I was the first student that went there.
Well, your final impression of Brazil, life in Brazil?
My final?
Yeah, how does it compare to Bermuda?
It's very different. It's actually different from what we even see on the TV, like about Brazil. Because when they told me I was going to Brazil, so I was like, yes, like, you know, Rio de Janeiro, like I was hyped. And then they told me I'm going to a city named Concordia. And I was like, what? I don't even know what this city is. I never heard of this. And it was in the south of Brazil.
Their experience has inevitably taught them a new language. In the case of Sage and Latifah, Portuguese, and Indonesian for Laruzi. Each of the young ladies introducing themselves here in their new languages.
Okay, semuanya, halo, nama saya Laruzi, saya dari Republik Dominika.
Oi, meu nome é Latifa, eu sou de Ilha das Bermudas, eu tenho 19 anos. Eu fui pro Brasil, a gente fala português juntos.
For Sage, the mastery of Brazilian Portuguese lends new credence to the long-running debate here that due to our demographics, Portuguese should be taught in all schools.
Why not Spanish or French?
I don't necessarily have a problem with Spanish or French, but the way that it's taught is not taught at a conversational level. We're just taught it so that we learn it past the class, whatever. For Portuguese, I feel like it would be very beneficial in order to communicate with the demographic that is and has been on our island for the past how many years?
And their message to fellow young people thinking about foreign travel?
My message would be to explore. Take the next step and push yourself outside of Bermuda, because all of us had the ambition to enter this program and be like the only one out of our friends to go to a different country and come back and learn the language, and now everyone's so fascinated.
So get reading, get interested, and be bold enough to learn about another country. Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Brave girls. And that's our program for tonight. I'm Jasmine Patterson, and thanks for watching. Good night.
Jasmine Patterson's wardrobe and makeup is provided by Gibbons Company.
On the CBS Evening News this Thursday, Republicans say they are more confident of confirming Brett Kavanaugh as protests grow on Capitol Hill. Red tide causes more beaches in Florida to shut down, and a 3D printer changed this dog's life and might do the same for humans. But first, the headlines in 60 seconds.
The FBI report is in.
Battle lines are being drawn on Capitol Hill.
There are hints of misconduct.
There's no corroboration.
A sham of an investigation.
Why don't we dunk him in water and see if he floats?
Do everything you can between now and November to be heard.
I think we're going to get arrested.